part 2 from yesterday. So I experienced my first night of being woken up at 5:36 a.m. post talking to stepdad about his devil worshipping ex. And day 2 now. I got woken up again at 5:36 a.m. Same thing. I got woken up like with a jerk reaction, like if someone shook me awake. And now at day 2, I'm thinking, okay, this is a little weird. Happened a second time. And yeah. So then I went to my cousin's house, and I would spend part of the week there. Probably more so the majority of the week there. But I would spend part of the week there. Anyways, I'm getting tongue-tied. I would go to her house. So now it was like basically my rounds. Okay, so now I'm staying at my cousin's house. And I was in high school, and my high school was just down the street. So it was a little bit more convenient, a little bit more easier. Either way, I tell her about what's going on. And I'm like, yeah, for the past 2 nights. First, I have this massive conversation about this whole entire story. And then the next day, that night, I get woken up at 5:36 a.m. The next day, I get woken up at 5:36 a.m. And now I have no clue what's going to happen tonight. And I'm hoping it doesn't happen because I'm at a different house. And I'm hoping it doesn't happen. And I'm good. Yeah. So, anyways, my cousin got freaked out. And back then, we were like night owls. I guess I'm a little bit still, but not as bad as then. I was a massive night owl. I would be out. Not out. Let me retract that. I wouldn't be out. I would be awake. Okay? I would be up in my Theo's house. We'd watch TV, talk, whatever. But I would be awake until possibly like 2 in the morning. I don't know. On a school night that we had to get up at like 6 at least, or somewhere around there. Either way, this is what I do. Okay? And I feel like I'm really close. Anyways, I go to bed finally. Okay, so I'm tired because when I've been woken up for the past 2 nights, I stay up late, I get woken up, and I'm scared. So I stay up a while before I could even fall back asleep. And now we're on day 3. I go to bed finally, and I went to bed a little late, and then I got woken up at 5:36 a.m. at her house. And I was like, shit, doesn't matter that I am in another house now. I'm still getting woken up. So then I go on day 4. Okay. And I go on day 4, and I'm so sorry. I was looking at something really quick. I go on day 4, and I get woken up again at 5:36 a.m. But this time, when I get woken up, I hear like this screaming through the house. I'm still at my Theo's house too, by the way. And my cousin's sitting right next to me. Oh, I'm so sorry. Day 3, when I got woken up, I woke up my cousin, and I'm like, oh my God, see, it happened. I got woken up again, and I don't know what to do. So yeah, I'm freaking out. Okay. And day 4, I am to the point where like, I don't want to go to sleep because I know I'm going to get woken up, whatever. But I didn't stay up that late. So anyways, I went to sleep. I got woken up, and this time I heard screaming. I heard screaming through my uncle's house. It sounded like it came from like they had like a den, a dining room, turn the corner of like the hallway, and then there was the room kind of right next to the dining room in a sense, but you had to go around the hallway to get there. And her room would switch around. So anyways, so I heard this screaming. I can't even explain it. It's like, it was even hard to tell if it was a male or female voice. It was just like a thing, like this howl kind of cry-ish thing. And it was super creepy. And let me tell you, I'm getting woken up at 5:36 a.m. and I'm hearing this noise, and I just am like, what the fuck? At this point, I'm freaking out because I can't even believe that this is happening. And on top of that, in getting woken up, everyone in the house is asleep because it's 5:36 a.m. And, you know, my tia didn't work, and she was a stay-at-home wife, and my Theo owned his own place, so he didn't necessarily have a 9 to 5 kind of job. So yeah, he didn't no one was awake. And I'm hearing this cry, and I'm like hitting my cousin Helika. Her name is Helika. But I was like, wake up. I was like, and I'm thinking in my head, watch, when I finally get her to wake up. The night before, she woke up in 2 seconds. Today, I can't get her to wake up. And I keep hitting her to wake her up, and I'm hitting her to wake her up. And then I'm like, watch, I bet you anything, the minute that I get her awake finally, this noise is going to stop. And so what I do, finally get her to wake up. What happens? Oh, the noise magically stopped. And I was freaked out to high hell now, because this is just like a Groundhog's Day, like a nightmare that's not ending, and it's following me wherever the F I go. It's not stopping. And I am just like, oh my God. And of course, when she wakes up, she doesn't hear the voice. I mean, not the voice, that howling kind of cry sound kind of thing. And I'm like, but she's, either way, whether she heard it or not, regardless, she was freaking out. She was scared. She was super, super scared, regardless. And we stayed up. And then finally I fell asleep. Okay. So now I'm discovering one thing for sure. No matter what type of encounters, things I heard, or anything, I never realized for sure, or knew for sure, one thing. Was it evil or not? In this situation, oh, I know. I actually don't like to call it evil. I like to call it negative energy. Oh, 100%. Way negative. Way negative. I'm experiencing something extremely negative, and I'm freaking the fuck out and don't know what to do with my life anymore. Yeah. So, the good thing, the moral of this story is that I learned negative exists. And obviously it exists in people, but now I'm confirmed and confirming it exists in spirits, and not cool. So how can I stop this? What can I do? How can I wake up from this nightmare that is occurring in my waking life? That's what I discovered. That is the moral of this story up until this point. Yeah. And it's going to continue. I have another part coming up. And yeah, it didn't end yet. More to come.